Shadowheart did the right thing. Will did the right thing. Will doing the right thing is like the stupid. Like Will's just like, maybe I shouldn't do a second deal with the devil, and you're like, Will, good job, Will. I talked to my dad, and he understood that I am not always perfect. Good for you, Will. You little rapscallion. But man, what a long weekend. It feels like it was forever. I think it was because I was really tired. I was supposed to finish writing that Starship Troopers thing this weekend, and I did not. You know what I did instead? I played the last, 10 quests that I had left in Baldur's Gate 3, and it took me fucking 20 hours of playtime, I swear to God. I just took the weekend off, as some people call it, by which I mean I also still did a fuckload of work. But I finally beat I finally beat Baldur's Gate 3. I have been playing it off and on since November. I was playing it hardcore through December, maybe it was December, but December and January, I was playing a bunch of it. And that fucking game, man, has got so much content. The crazy thing is I put maybe 150, 160 some odd hours. I don't know. Hold on. Let me look it up. How many hours did I put in? How many hours did I put into it? Library? I finally uninstalled it too, because it is a 160 fucking gigabyte game. Nickelodeon. Baldur's Gate 3, 142 gigabytes. My playtime is 158.3 hours. For one playthrough. They have individual content for every fucking origin character that you have. So there's and each one of those characters can have good, bad playthroughs, this, that. They can all romance every other fucking character. It's literally the never-ending story in video games. You could pick you could pick Baldur's Gate up again in 15 years and probably still play a brand new campaign start to finish and have it just all the way, the entire way through, be completely alien to you, basically, with a notable exception of the 4 to 10 maybe total of 100,000 fucking plot points that are in this game that you have to go through. You're gonna you have to kill Ketheric, of course, because Act 2. But all the rest of it, man, is nuts. And just trying to do everything is so distracting. It is crazy. But I am finally fucking done with the damn thing. Did I enjoy the game? I enjoyed it profusely. It was a blast. My playthrough was, I played as a tiefling, because it was the only character that was my size. All of the human characters seemed like the dudes maxed out at something pitiful 5'8". I'm being mean. Which is 8 inches shorter than me, by the way. In more ways than one. Sorry. Vosh tier comment. Soundboard. Vosh. I played as a tiefling, bard, and that's why I had the whole thing. If you guys are here, if you're new, 3 months ago, maybe, or something like that, before I moved, I did the whole Tyler's Bard school, because I was so frustrated with the Bard class, and I really still am. It is an L class overall. I do have to say that. I get the issues that people have with 5e. Even as a person from the outside looking in, I can tell the game has dog shit balance. I can see it. I can't articulate it all the way, but it's obvious that wizards and sorcerers and rogues are always fucking good. Those are just bog standard, perfect, any playthrough, full utility characters. And basically, it seems like every challenge in the game revolves around, and then maybe whatever your frontliner. Who gives a fuck about a frontliner? Your frontliner that has some variant of hit the thing and get more powerful before you hit the thing and be more resistant before you get hit. That's not really tactic. It's okay, yeah, it's that's how a fucking pawn and a knight work. I get it. But The balance is dog shit because you do have whole classes that you have to like solo class all the way to the top of it, and you can't branch out. Some of the classes you can branch out every fucking direction. You can do all kinds of mix of paladin and clerics, paladin, fucking wizard, sorcerer, all that shit can get mixed around. Bard is just like, I don't know. We heard that bards are a thing that people are supposed to do in these games. It gets nothing special. People are like, but you could pick fucking different classes and get like additional other spells from other classes. It was like, yeah, but you could also just be that class and get like 4 times the spells. And it's all based on charisma anyway. Like all of the spellcasters basically are like charisma. There's some other fucking shit. There's like tinkers and stuff. Who gives a fuck? Who cares? You gnome halfling players, who gives a fuck what you get up to? People are like, it adds a layer of dimensionality to the game. Okay. I fucking killed every race of those type of people the same way I did every other race, which was by casting the fucking Hatters, whatever, Ice Cloud. I casted Ice Cloud that has a name that's not ice, Poisonous Ice Cloud. And then I made it rain, which made ice there, and then people would do fucking wacky cartoon slip and falls and die. A guy in that game is the reincarnated main bad guy from Baldur's Gate 2. Seeing him at all, it's supposed to be like, wow, it's him. It's this dude. He's the baddest motherfucker of all time. I had my fucking bard front line because I had to talk to him. And the boss fight starts off, and I just cast poison cloud, poison ice cloud. It's great. It poisons them. It ices them. And it also makes it so they can't see. So it's like the spell darkness, but useful. Fucking slaps, right? I cast that. I rain on him, and rain on me. He's Adam Sandler. Very powerful ADHD today. I rain on him and his fucking 3 lackeys. Who gives a fuck? And then I hit him with chain lightning. And so they're in ice, in water. Water is the most powerful effect in that game, by the way. Because if you make somebody lightly damp, like half of the spells in the game do more damage. And it's the spells that everybody's using because they have the most utility. It's like chain lightning gets a damage modifier, plus also he's frozen and slip sliding around like a wacky cartoon character. This motherfucker.
I am the incarnation of Paul. When I walked back from the ethereal plane, I knew only that life itself was a curse. This puppet flesh that has been appended to me, pinned to my very soul, is an affront, and I live only on to destroy all other life, so they can be free. But like literally goofied him to death. He got fucking taken out by some shit that Goofy, the literal character Goofy, could solo. Absolutely fucking cockslapped the shit out of him with a dude that walks around with a fucking like lute on his back. Like literally the most irritating guy to show up at a party, the dude with an acoustic instrument. That's my character. He acts like that. And he's miserable. Every other bard in that character is like, everyone hates them. I can remember because you run into like 4 of them. There's like Alfira, who is like the first person that gets murdered if you run like the spoiler. Fuck you. No spoilers. You get spoiled. We're talking about, shut the fuck up. She can get murdered if you run the Dirge character or whatever. She's like, I don't know. She's somebody's Tumblr version of a demon that they got to put in the game. Alfira, if you don't know, she's a bard chick that you run into in the first like 20 minutes of the fucking game, and she is literally drawn like somebody's fucking Tumblr OC. Like they paid $4,000 to get it put into the game, and you basically gaslight her into becoming a teacher. Like that's the whole point of Alfira. The entire game is she's ass. She sucks at singing. Her songs are bad. She's bad at guitar or lute or whatever the fuck. And then you just lie to her, and you're just like, nah, you should keep going. And then she starts at school to, I guess, teach other people how to be bad at instruments. Like you literally just turn her into an untalented educator. And that's the entire plot line. That's her. There's Volo, who's the guy that's in all of the games. He's kind of like one of those wandering eternal type people. I don't know if you're supposed to say the wandering Jew anymore. That's a literal character, but like, you never know. You never know what people are going to assume these days. Everybody's fucking excited about everything. But either way, that's Volo, and he's irritating. His call to fame is he's like, I'm irritating. I know I'm irritating, and I'm going to be irritating, and then I'm going to go. There's another guy like Milial or something. He's irritating. You get to go to a place that's like all Elf Song Tavern, full of bards. All of them are cunts. Irritating, level 1. No bearing whatsoever on the plot. And then there's me. I'm a guy that's walking around like 8 fucking feet tall playing songs, but when I play it, it makes like noxious frozen fart gas clouds that poison you to death while you slip on ice in absolute darkness. And they literally cast like just it's just Gehenna. You guys know Dante's Inferno, the last place? It's just, I cast Gehenna on you. You just are just flopping around in your own icy filth, suffocating to death while I just play a jaunty little fucking ditty on my bing 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 bing. Literally crawled back from the 15th layer of hell. Ancient fucking brain demon, fucking ghosts. It doesn't fucking matter for some reason in that game. Sorry, dude. I cast going into Sandy's bowl from SpongeBob without a fucking helmet on. You're fucked now. What is this place? Uncle I roll $5. Thank you. Based and dirge pilled, letting me feel good about not letting Alfira start her shitty part school. True. She's in the entire game, and I tried to do like a good guy playthrough, and like in real life, I mostly picked the things I would have chosen in real life, and so like I just kept telling her like, no, you should stick with it, and then she started at school, and I was like, what kind of damage have I done? This is fucking bad. Whoops-a-daisy. What else did I do? I romanced Shadowheart because, of course, I thought I was going to get into that game and be like, well, it's got to be Astarion. And Astarion. I can't say that. You can't say his name right without one of those fakey Faerun fake English accents. Astarion. Fuck, Jesus, that's fucked. I thought I would be romancing him because that was he's the fucking funniest dude. No, he's like a chill friend to keep off to the side. He's great at parties. Shadowheart is immediately just like, yeah, this is it. Okay, fine. Yeah, all right. Sad goth girl with literal daddy issues. Or mommy issues. Yeah, okay. I'm adopting you. I'm going to take you home. We're going to go to Hot Topic later and buy you a bunch of fucking wristbands. Don't worry. Have you eaten? Do you need your meds? Do we need to go get water for your meds? It just appealed to the part of me that is like me. It was bone deep and instantaneous. Like, all right. Yeah. Shout out somebody that romances Will. You're a fucking loser. Can I just say that? Can I just say if you romanced Will, what the fuck? Did you do it for completion's sake? Because I'm not going to lie. Will's entire romance subplot when I was getting into it was just like, oh, God. No, absolutely. This fucking dork, dude. That guy just, like, spiritually, he would be an incel. He would be like an incel that's gotten laid IRL. He's like a rich kid, like a religious rich kid, homeschool type dude, you know? Like, he would be the child of a mega church pastor in modernity. I killed Mintara because I didn't know. I literally went in with no spoilers, and I just assassinated everybody in Goblin Town. I killed everyone. So when one of them was like, hey, do you want to steal this chick's underwear? And I was just like, what? Normally it's like in that game, like you can't get any loot off people. And then this one is just like, yo, you can take her evening clothes and shit. I'm like, oh, I think I made a mistake. So I killed her. Jaheira died in the assault on the fucking tower or whatever. And I was already playing the game for too long that I was like, I'm not reloading to unkill Jaheira.
Then I found out if you don't fucking save Jaheira, for some reason you can't get Minsk in the third act, and then you don't get the coolest character, the guy who is like literally me, I'm him. The only person I would want, like if there was ever a DLC for it, all I want is just Minsk as an origin character. Everything else is pointless. Like who gives a fuck? I don't give a shit. Will is just what if Altist in PG-3. It's not. Unironically. It's for the Germa viewers. Tyler just called Will lovers cucks. Anybody, dude, Will is going to get. If you go with Will, he's gonna get cheated on. You marry Will so that you can cheat on Will. That's how it goes. He's that guy. You get a nice house to live in. He's a sweetheart. He goes into his room and writes bad weepy poetry in his like late 30s about his dad. It's not even about you. And then you go off to the Elf Song Tavern and you get your fucking you get your fucking or Sharess's caress. And you get your pipes blown out by a fucking, what do you call those? Hooker. Incubus is what I was actually trying to say. Will is lame. Shout out for black representation in fantasy media for having the balls to make Will the whitest person ever. You couldn't make Will a white kid because it would be if he was actually just like a blue-eyed, blonde-haired, square-jawed, like whitey white. It would be too on the nose. You know what I mean? Like little young Republican ass walking around being fucking, I don't know about that. But God bless him for being a fucking dork, dude. Oh my God. First time I saw him and he stabbed someone in the chest and I was just like, that's lame. I was like, you can't, how did you make that lame? They nailed it. They did that on purpose. Like Will's not an accident. Will is lame. Will is a lame character. Will is the guy that brings his character to it, and he wants to do like, I'm like on the outside, I'm the nicest guy you ever met, but on the inside, I'm a demon. You know what I mean? Like Will is like a rich kid who has way too many Joker posters on his wall. That's who he is. I have a dark side. And everyone's like, okay. Even his origin story is just him getting duped by some fucking tail. Just like a mid-hot demon lady is just like, I'll give you all the powers to save this fucking town or whatever, but you have to sell your soul. And it was just a bad deal, and he doesn't understand the value of $1, so he took it and fucked his life up. Like, that's Will. Will's the guy's like, my backstory is the darkest backstory ever, and then he has to talk to literally almost every other character except for Gale, and they're all just like, and he's just like Shadowheart is the real version of what Will thinks he is. Shadowheart's just like, I thought I was an orphan, but I'm not. I got abducted by the cult that's the opposite of my cult, and they killed a bunch of my family members in front of me and like wiped my memories, and I've just been killing people and writing, like, if you guys don't know, if you look up fucking Shadowheart's been reading / maybe writing erotic fiction in her free time in her bed. Absolute queen shit. Walking around with an untreated wound on her hand and stuff. Will's just like, oh, I've been cursed by these big fucking horn things, and I've got one cool eye. And you're like, oh, shut the fuck up, Will. Karlach is the perfect antithesis of Will. In the ending I got, I just sent Will off to fucking hang out with Karlach. I don't know who's babysitting who. They're both babysitting each other. Karlach is the perfect counterpoint to Will, because Karlach's backstory is nightmarish. She's a child soldier that's been conscripted to fight in an endless hell war, who was betrayed by all of the people she ever trusted, put a fucking weird-ass burning metal heart in her chest, and now she's like, I'm just living up the last days of my life before I fucking explode. And like her whole subquest is trying to convince her not to fucking accept her death and live on in glorious fucking like conflict. And I'm so happy that I didn't talk her in, like let her fucking talk me into letting her die. I'm like, no, you're gonna go to hell and you're gonna keep fighting. You're Karlach. You don't give up. Absolutely profoundly based. The best thing about her is she doesn't dwell on it. You have to work so hard to get a bad moment out of Karlach. She's just like, yeah, it is. I guess I'm burning my candle at both ends, but they're still made. And she's like walking around just like, I really wish I wasn't so hot that I couldn't suck some dick. She's like losing her mind. She's like, I will burn people to death alive if I touch them. I have not gotten, she basically says it to your face, I have not gotten dick in so fucking long. Anybody. She's like, I don't give a fuck. I just want a hug and a fuck. Like, what a queen, dude. Will over here. I just want my dad to love me. She's just like, I don't give a shit. I just want to be able to get shit-faced and railed on a Saturday night. Like, what Karlach, absolute queen hours. 24/7, best character in the game, I think. Like, literally one of my favorites. Speaks to me as just like a great veteran like allegory without it being a bunch of weepy like, people can't help themselves. Every fucking veteran allegory has to be Spec Ops The Line, you know. No veteran can just like serve honorably if somebody that's not a veteran writes them and then just get out and be like conflicted about things in a journal. It's always got to be like, well, you know, you did slaughter 1,500 people in cold blood, or so you did murder that one family. It's like, well, maybe that doesn't happen to every single person that's going. God damn. She's great. Asterian's great. Astarion is just teaching him about self-care. Like, Astarion is a fun... He's such a tryhard that Astarion's entire fucking route is just trying to convince him to stop trying to be an edgy boy and accept the fact that he can cry sometimes. And he's like, I don't want to. I want to be fun. and he's really sad. Getting Astarion through everything was great. He's great. 10 out of 10 character. Very, very funny. Good the entire time. Will lame. Let's get to the fucking end of it. Gale. No, hold on. I'm going to save Gale for last. I got a bone to pick with fucking Gale. Probably because I played it wrong. I'll talk about Halsin for a second. Halsin is in the game. Halsin. There you go. That's it. The crazy part about Halsin is that people even found out he can turn into a bear and fuck somebody, which I didn't know was possible. Because who the fuck pursues romance with Halsin? I mean, I guess, you know what, actually, he's so niche. Whoever does like Halsin is never going to pick anyone else. I think for me, Halsin is too much like me. Like, just gregarious, like, bouncing around, like, kind of, you know, bigger dude. And so I can't think of him romantically because it's just too close to me. It's like, you know, self-masturbation. I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this one at all. But like, he's all right. He's all right. He spent the entire third act, because I killed Orin the Red last, strapped to a table by a creepy shape-shifting Damimami, which unironically, I think Halsin was probably the best person for that to happen to, because he just seems like that's his thing. You know, like, if you're just like, Halsin, what are you doing today? He's just like, oh, I'm fucking got strapped to a table by a murderer, and, you know, we didn't even fuck or anything, but, like, I enjoyed the moment. He has to be unconscious, too, because he's a druid, so, like, he should have just turned into, like, I don't know, anything and left. But he didn't. He just stayed in there, which was fine, because, you know, I already had, like, other people to do, like, their full companion quests, and it was the third act, so I was like, dude, I don't know if you know this, but my girlfriend is about to, like, go meet her parents for the first time in a while, / I'm gonna go kill her boss, / also her fake mom. There's a lot going on, so, like, I know the torture is a lot. It's pretty bad, probably, and it has to stink, because it is a blood-filled sewer. It has to be, like, the worst smell possible, but, like, fucking daddy's princess needs to go and meet her actual literal dad who she can't remember because her memories are, it's a whole thing. And we got to do that first. Also, Asterion got to kill his sort of dad too. His like abuser. We're going to kill a lot of abusers today. Orin, I don't have like a particular, I'm not angry with her really. She keeps trying to upset me. She's like a shapeshifter. I talk to somebody, it's a normal conversation, and then she does some wackadoo, says some wacky shit, and turns into her and implies that the person she was talking through is dead. But I don't care about the people that she was pretending to be. And then she pretended to be you, and it was the first time you said anything interesting, and then it wasn't you. And that resonated with me in a way that I don't think it was supposed to. Fucking awesome. God bless him. Like, I got one guy that can shoot lightning across the map. I have a lady that puts on fucking jump boots. Oh, Lae'zel. Let's talk about Lae'zel for a second. Other people say Lae'zel is like one of the best romance partners. She's just not my type. Not my vibe. Not my vibe. Weird little, overly aggressive green girl. Very religious. Evangelical grade fucking personality disorder. Not my thing. Just not my thing. There's nothing about her. She was just like, hey, do you want to fucking smash because we killed a bunch of goblins? And I'm like, okay. And then my dude woke up the next day like barely able to walk and covered in scratches, and he was like, I think that's the last time I fall into that thorn bush. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can stick your dick in violent, and you can stick your dick in crazy, but you can't stick your dick in crazy violent. Well, I mean, I guess you can. I think actually that specific desire is catered to a number of times in this, so I don't know why I even said that. That actually seems about like that accommodates 25% of the entire player base that fucking followed through this, to the point where you can be the crazy violent that people stick their dicks into. Play dirge. So there's that. All right. Fair enough. Did I finish talking about how classes are dumb? Can I just say, yeah, the Bard class, rough, because I went and talked about Ophira. Also, like, Monk is there, and I was like, Monk has to be secretly very cool. Nope. No. Only if you're level 12 is it useful at all, because you're basically like a caster that can get one shot. And the entire armor system in 5e, I'm guessing if it works the same as 5e, is ass. It's ass, but it's dog shit. It's horrible. The whole game is based around casters and frontline. It's all casting and melee is what it is. And if you start with casting and melee and then work your way to things that aren't quite that, it's good. Like, Rogue is a class. The Rogue and stuff, they're a class because that's a class that's actually a third option by just not doing the first two, but the game's not designed around them. The game has something called like armor points, right? Or the AC, armor constitute, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's fucking horrible. Because basically you don't get hurt if you get hit with it when you're in armor, because like your AC score is how you dodge. Doesn't make any fucking sense. I know it's calculated like a little bit more, but like, even in real life, I should be able to jog circles around somebody if we've both been working out a bunch and we're both in prime shape. There's a guy in fucking full plate armor and then me in some like light shit. It should be impossible basically for him to catch up with me. You know what I mean? Maybe I can't punch through the armor, but like, that's the setup between strength and dex. And in this game, it just kind of throws out the fucking window. And it's useless because you can just put on shitloads of fucking armor and then not get hit, which is extra stupid. Because if you think about it, like, if you have so much armor on that something doesn't hit you, it's a miss. And so things can hit you and not do damage, but it's a hit, right? So, like, if I shoot an acid arrow at you and you're wearing armor, it shouldn't, like, punch through the armor, but it should cover you in acid. But because of the way it works, it misses you, and so nothing fucking happens, which turns it into the fact that, like, so many of the fucking arrows and other things have to be AoE attacks. But the thing is the AoE attacks are not like hyper universal around all of the other attack types. So you can have a guy with his literal bare hands, his literal fists, run up to a dude who's wearing full plate armor and try to punch him twice and miss. Like whiffing punches on a guy. Like the guy in armor should let you hit him because he doesn't have respect. It's very irritating. It's very, very irritating. Tyler, there's a misconception. Armor isn't as encumbering as commonly considered. Listen, folks. It's encumbering. Love how we got from BG3 to armor weight to cool words. Tyler should check out later. Okay, we've also got to get back to fucking Baldur's Gate 3. All respect to Lae'zel, just not my type. But I do want to get into Gale because Gale failed me. And I refuse to be Bale. I refuse every single. By the way, everybody has like character things in this in that game. Everybody has little character fucking story arcs that can go like basically good ending, bad ending, depending on what it is. Usually the bad ending means that they're fucking like curmudgeonly little shit weasels. And Gale's was the worst. I kind of don't like Gale. He's too like all of the worst parts of me and like any person that I know. Like he's like cringe. He's the cringe intellectual guy. Gale is Vosh's version of a person who reads. To explain it like in Toda, like he's condescending and self-important, and he just thinks he's the wittiest person ever. But he also just like runs out on his mom. He lives with his mom, Mysticarios, and his cat, Tessarin, the fucking flying cat. And at the end, I guess I could have maybe worked harder on him to convince him not to go do dumb shit. I did that for Astarion, because Astarion had to be like really like coached out of stop being a fucking psycho, you little goof, but he went through some shit. Gale of Waterdeep's entire thing is he had a bad breakup. He was fucking a god and didn't have respect for her boundaries, and she broke up with him because he cursed himself by filling his body full of like alternative bad magic, like antimatter magic, and basically making himself into a bomb. He's a fucking idiot. Like Gale is like the smartest moron ever, and like he keeps fucking not getting his comeuppance the entire time. And by the end, he can turn himself into a god, and he did. And I just called him a loser, and he was just sitting there at the party like, well, guess I'll just stay over here alone. He doesn't mingle with anybody. He just stands in front of his fucking tent. What a fucking stupid dick. But there's just something about it that was like, I almost thought about replaying the last bits of the game because his decision to do that is one of the last things. But with almost everybody else, I left it up to them. I was just like, like, hey, trust yourself, but I don't think you should do this. And like Astarion went to my side, or like not my side, but like, well, I mean, yeah, kind of. He didn't turn into a gigantic like asshole vampire superlord that sacrifices 50 million people to go walk around in the daytime. Shadowheart did the right thing. Will did the right thing. Will doing the right thing is like the stupid, like Will's just like, maybe I shouldn't do a second deal with the devil. And you're like, Will, good job, Will. I talked to my dad and he understood that I'm not always perfect. Good for you, Will, you little rapscallion. Karlach has no she has no like actual like internal ethical conflict. She's just so fucking depressed about always being on fire that she almost gives up. And you just have to tell her, Karlach, just fucking keep Karlaching on. And then she goes to hell, lights a cigar with Will, and then goes and kills imps with her fucking gigantic battle axe. She's the coolest. The coolest. Gale, one of the most useful characters. But he kind of is everything I hate about that game wrapped into one. He's just the worst character. I think really Gale is the worst of the characters, including Will. Well written, very well written. All the characters are well written. He's just, I fucking don't like him, and I have to put up with him all the fucking time. But he's like one of the strongest people. Like, cast mage armor, have him run around a little bit further back, and then do, Misty Step out of everybody has Misty Step. So are you running Misty Step? Are you running Misty Step? I am running Misty Step. I'm running something that's not called Misty Step, but it is Misty Step. Like literally Misty Step, my dude. Extra action, Misty Step. But he gets like the most OP shit, right? And it's like, oh, okay, yeah. Well, he only gets to use these spells once per long rest. And it's like, bro, I get fucking infinite long rests in this game. Except in like 6 fucking situations. So like I just have this little fucking dipshit go, eat dinner and take a nap, and I can come back here and literally fucking wield the power of gods against people. And I just don't feel like there's an equivalent version of that kind of in the rest of the cast. You know what I mean? Because it's like for your frontliners have to level up a bunch in several different cases to be able to attack somebody more than once. Whereas Gale has some area of effect attacks that attack multiple things at one time in an area indefinitely. It's like, well, they can't leave that area. And it's like, well, neither can my fucking frontliner because they can't disengage without getting back attacked for like an insane amount of damage. For some reason, like the running away from people attack is the one that's most like the least likely to fucking whiff. So you're always stuck next to people. Anytime your frontliners or your backliner, like ranged people get stuck next to them, they're threatened. So like your ranged attack is not as good. But like magic's always golden. Like it's literally magic, and I get it. But like God, there's never a downside. Never a downside to using magic. The closest you can get to a downside is that if you don't take the most obvious trait ever when you're leveling your guys up, which is the like, hey, this is the trait that lets you not hit your own team with your ridiculous area of effect attacks, then like you're there's no drawback. There is no fucking drawback. You can even have people whip you up some fucking drugs so that you get your little potion slots back. There's clothes that give you your slots back, and at a certain level, you get cantrips that are fucking really powerful. So, like, you just get to cast spells indefinitely. Like, okay, what does this person do? Oh, they get to attack, but, whatever. They get one attack, and they have to go to the guy. What can he do? Oh, he shoots fucking Eldritch Blast. It's 3 shots. You can spread it out between people, and there's, I think, maybe, like, 20 fucking items in the game that make that one attack, for some reason, especially strong. And then you can, like, gank people. What about the sword attack? Oh, yeah, it does, like, maybe a little less damage, and you can't spread it out amongst mob enemies. So, well, I mean, you can use cleave, but it goes this far. You know what I mean? Like, what about, like, every other sword game in the history of games where you can do a multi-attack, and it's like your guy runs around and attacks people multiple times and stuff, and you're like, I don't know if you ever understand this, but this entire game is about magic, right? And also, my guy can make frontliners kind of like useless because he can also just summon extra things, and then he can use his extra get one of my spots back to get the spot, like the little spell back. Like, yeah, it takes like it's level 6 spell to cast one of the strongest little backup characters in the game. It's unfathomably destructive and has area of effect attacks, and it can teleport across the screen, which like for free, like it can just teleport across the screen and still attack. It's not like limited, like it costs a spell slot or anything. It can just teleport, and it's his pet, and it hits almost as hard as some of your frontliners, and it has like shit, and it can come back. Okay. What? Like, oh yeah, and there's like, you can bring scrolls that do it too. And he has a homing attack called Magic Missile that can go around shit and hit people for like insanely high damage. All right, why in the fuck are the rest of us here? It's like, well, because, I don't know, maybe you want to fuck one of them or something? God damn it, dude. Oh my god. The magic shit is just way too fucking overpowered. Like, way too OP. Compared to where everything else can like build up to the point that there's basically everything I've ever attacked in that game that's like this creature has magic resistance. half the time they're not fucking resistant to the one fucking op as fuck spell, the two op as fuck spells that are basically the same spell in different forms, fucking Eldritch Blast and Magic Missile, and then if you find the chest book, you can get additional stronger Magic Missile that does guaranteed 15 damage per hit over 6 hits to a total of like 86 at the top end of it. Guaranteed hit, can't miss, guaranteed hit, can't miss. Heat seeking literally goes around obstacles. What in the fuck? What can this guy do? Like, hey, bonus action. This goofy bitch right here, let me tell you, all right? She can jog over 2 turns closer to somebody. I know that she's like a little sword type chick, but you're going to want to keep some ranged weapons on her, even though she doesn't specialize in that, because she will never close distance with fucking anybody that can do damage. She'll just basically be chasing them around the map the entire fucking time, and they will be, after a certain level, casting the guaranteed hit spells, which, by the way, remember the AC stuff is like, AC just makes you whiff. It doesn't, like, tank the hit. So, like, the fucking guaranteed hit spell just disregards your armor, basically. What in the fuck? In literally every CRPG, magic is op. I know, but, like, having it be particularly strong isn't the issue. It's the fact that nothing gets in the way of it. I think that's the biggest thing, is like, there's 700 fucking magic attacks and almost nothing to shut down magic. Except for maybe going and fucking, like, trying to, like, teleporting into the back line or something, which is never the best way to attack. You can just kind of cast silence, or maybe you charm somebody or blah, blah, blah. And that's what I was saying. The whole fucking bard class should be like a counter caster class. Bard and monk, like, should have better stuff. There's also really no defensive spells in the game. Like, not really. Not on par with, like, the other ones. You don't get a bunch of the wall spells until, like, later in the game, and they don't do that much. The wall spells are, like, buggy as fuck in this game. They just won't load where stuff is, and, like, they just won't show up the right way. They suck. They suck. But, like, there's no, like, immediate, like, hey, like, protective orb or something that, like, tanks a fucking hit that you can use on the backup. Or if there was, I couldn't see it. I didn't find it. But, like, I feel if you have 50 offensive spells, there should be, like, 50 defensive or, like, co-defensive spells too. And it just doesn't seem like the system itself was balanced for that in any way that made sense. Best defense is offense in the game. It absolutely is. It's a game where there's no... That's the thing. It's a game where there's no way to really break glass cannons, because the glass cannons aren't cannons. They're glass sniper rifles that can move around really fast. Like, being able to cast, as Gale, cast guaranteed hit spells that start off at, like, level 1. So it starts off... You can always cast it. You always have a spell slot open for it. And you can always teleport the fuck out of the way. It got to the point where I was like, yeah, it's a good use of my fucking skills. Like, literally the fight with the Elder Brain. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Using a fucking level 5 spell to teleport, to a 5 spell slot to do a level 2 teleport is absolutely worth a 5 spell slot, because I have 4 more 5 spell slots or 3 more 5 spell slots. And I can cast, like, literally Magic Missile is how I beat the fucking game, because I hit the fucking final boss with 80 points of Magic Missile. I couldn't even get my frontliners to hit it. You know what I mean? Like, if you just play that game with just rangers and casters, you're golden with, like, 1 healing person. And the healing options are dog shit too. Can we fucking talk about that? The healing is so fucking uninspired. It's just 6 different versions of, like, the same 3 spells. There's heal from a distance, heal up close, heal a bunch of people in your immediate area, heal a shitload of people for a little less in a bigger area, and then like really big area, pick a few people, and it's just like, who gives a fuck? And then you have like aid and stuff. Counter curse is just basically there for a few story beats, because I think I got cursed twice by touching something, and then who gives a fuck? It didn't have identify. I don't know why, but that bothered me the most, because I didn't realize that that was the case, and sometimes you would pick up jewelry that has like a glow to it, and then it took me forever to find out that there was no version of identify in the game, and I was like, well, what in the fuck am I carrying all this shit around? I mean, I can sell it, but like, I got excited, you pricks. But can you parry? Not really. No. There's like a parry skill that's specifically a skill in like 2 classes of frontliner, which obviously doesn't do shit for any ranged attacks, right? So I think maybe there's a spell parry. I feel like I know I saw it, but I don't think it ever was used against me. Tyler's literally complaining about the problems with 5e rather than BG3. Well, I mean, BG3 is based on the game was fine. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's necessarily, but I know it's based on 5e, and I can't imagine it's that much different. I know 5e is going to have a bunch of other spells. I looked some of the stuff up. Like, obviously, you don't go up to level 20 because you can't just be ascended fucking gods at the end of that game. You have to have some difficulty left. You don't get, like, there's spells like Wish and stuff that aren't really in the game. The closest is, like, the Blessing, Cleric Blessing or whatever, where you can get one, like, mid fucking mace, or everybody gets healed, or you get, like, a food for a day. It's stupid as shit, but they did their best. 5e is way worse with balancing. I wish Larian could make a Pathfinder game. They said they're not making another 5e. I don't know anything about TTRPGs except for that Pathfinder is what people made after people hated D&D, E3 or E4. I really got it. It doesn't hit as bad in the early levels. Because in the early levels, the 3 things that, like, mages can do after they hit, like, level fucking 6 to 8 don't exist yet. So, like, your mages are actually pretty, like, at risk for the first 4 to 6 levels, you know, of leveling up. Which is, everyone is. You know what I mean? Like, your ranger can't sneak. Your sword fighter can't fucking swing his sword. The mage can't cast. What is that? The fucking... I just started doing the Henry Lawrence thing. The mage can't cast. The sword swinger can't swing. The ranger can't hit a fucking shot. No one knows what the hell the cleric's doing. And the bard's drunk in the corner. So he's the only one doing the thing that he was supposed to be doing. But it feels like so many of the classes are just thrown in. Monk especially. Monk, you have to level up basically all of your levels in Monk. I thought it would be cool to make a Monk Warlock. Because, like, maybe it would be pretty dope. But then it's just like diluting Warlock, which is basically a different type, just basically different sorcerer, really. Sorcerer, like sword sorcerer. There's basically 3 classes, 4 really. 5. I'll give you 5 total classes. There's hit it with the sword, which is ass almost universally after level like 6. You have to start putting other shit in because you can't even walk across the map half the time without getting fucking obliterated. There is I heal shit. Not support caster, not defense caster, not anything. Just I heal shit. That's like 3 or 4 different types of whole classes. You have sorcerer or magic caster, which is like 5 classes in and of itself with different levels of spice, most of which are just how much of I hit things with swords too are thrown in. So it's like, yeah, I have access to the strongest cantrip in the game, fucking Eldritch Blast, which is by far and for no reason at all stronger than every other cantrip. Just literally more universally hits better, stronger, more variably effective. I think it goes further than almost all of the other fucking cantrips do. And it does a type of damage that is the least likely to be something's elemental resistance. I can't even remember what the fuck has elemental resistance to physical damage in that game. Because it's magic that does physical damage, which is kind of bullshit and shouldn't exist, by the way. So there's all of those different varieties of caster. Then there's Ranger, which is just hit shit with a sword, but be bad at it and like get fucking like glass cannon long shot hits. With few exceptions, the Ranger classes are pretty good. Ranger, Rogue, whatever the fuck. You can mix them up, but they have so much fucking skill crossover, and like you can use this person's skill, that person's skill, blugga 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 back and forth. You like there's no real difference, right? It's just, do you want to stab them sometimes or all the time? Sometimes? Okay, well, still, we're not going to really penalize your class at all. You can also just all do lockpicks. For some reason, this guy just has a really attuned nose to smelling shit in the ground. You have the Druid class for your weird friend who doesn't give a fuck. And the Druid class is literally just the Warlock version of I heal shit classes, right? It's just Paladin, but with the most useless spells possible put into it. And you can cast Polymorph on self as opposed to other people. There you go. And then you have the fucking... Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? It's 5e, I guess. Who gives a shit? It's Baldur's Gate classes, which are like Monk, the other classes I can't remember, and Bard. Which are like... Bard is just a fuck you. It's like, literally, we added one extra action in here, which is play music. But also, Bard is specifically in a video game the best class to play because you're the character talking to everyone every time. So you're a Bard, and if you put too much points in charisma, you eventually run out of like, I can get anything out of having all of these charisma points. Like, you can cast some spells, but you probably already have a caster. So like, if you try and like, are you going to mix them up with this guy? Your cantrips are going to be ass. Your Bard cantrips are dog shit. You don't get any fucking cantrip boosts. And then it's just like, okay, do you want to mix in some of the hit things with sword or some of the magic? Because this class is just bug shit. And people are like, well, what else is there? I'm like, I don't know. Use your literal imagination. It's a game where you write shit down on paper and roll dice. You should be able to just write down anything on the paper. They should have written down more interesting shit on the paper beforehand. Why is there not a version of Druid that turns into Eldritch monsters? There you go. How about this one first off? I don't give a fuck about phase spiders. Owlbears are cool. Why can't I just fucking transmute myself into a fucking spectator? Like, goddamn, I want to do that. I want to turn into a fucking observer or whatever the fuck. Gigantic eyeball that shoots fucking lasers and shit. I want to be able to fucking polymorph into other people, but like in a way that's not lame. Like, okay, we just fucking re-rolled your character's appearance statistics. Like, fucking great, buddy. Still the exact same character with a fucking literal new coat of paint. Let me literally turn into the fucking bad guy. I want a character whose entire thing is like deep assassin. Like, I don't know. Just call it blood theft. And you literally, if you can hit for more than 20 points, anime guy lick the blood off the knife, you can turn into that person for 4 turns or 5 turns and have access to all of the remaining spell slots, skills, everything that they had for the rest of the day. But you're like stuck like that and you lose 2 turns afterwards. How fucking cool would that be? Oh, look, Ketheric, I'm you. I am also Ketheric. Look, I know what your dick looks like when I fucking look down the front of your pants. Get boozled. Like, let me have some shit like that, right? The whole Bard class I talked about, that's fucking cool. There's just so many things I want. You know what I mean? The Necromancer should have been not at... Necromancy sucks in that game. Necromancy is dog shit, right? Because I always think of Necromancy from like... it might have been Diablo, where you can like... You say, I'm not going to resurrect out of the dead guy I already killed. No, I don't think so. I'm going to do fucking... mega blocks with him and his friends and make what we call in the business a flesh titan, and it is going to eat everyone in your town and become a flesh overlord. And then that thing is going to follow me around, and basically my entire character class is about making people try to not look at it. Like I can cast glamours to hide my coterie of dead things that follow me, including the thing that everyone thinks is a wagon, but that's actually Ugnar, as I like to call him, the memory of flesh. And it's just like the howling remains of 20 souls that I have stolen from the underworld, wrapped delicately around ancient curses from Thay, and now it wanders about, both carrying my shit and preparing me dinner, as well as eating my enemies. Like, why can't I not have that? Why can't I have that? I want that. How, you know what's fucking better than killing 20 goblins? Making a gigantic golem ball monster, or goblin ball monster, like you're a fucking dung beetle, and then having it fucking creepy crawl across the world. But no, they're like, look, hey, well, look. You want to be a necromancer, right? I got it. I get you. Can I interest you in a skeleton? All right. You don't want any more skeletons. Now, we do have a ranged skeleton. No, you don't want a skeleton. Okay, you don't want any skeletons. They're classic. It's just like those old Henry Harryhausen movies that running around. Okay, so you don't want a skeleton? Can I interest you in a zombie? You don't want a skeleton or a zombie? What other dead things are there? I mean, can you calm down? Can you calm down for a second? Like, if you play as a necromancer, there should be no walking around with your friends not giving a shit. The necromancer's entire fucking like plan should be hunting down bigger, cooler things and animating them. Like the like when you're like, finally we've slain fucking Elgramon, the high priestess of Lolth, and she's like laying there dead. Like, your necromancer should pop up from behind you like this. Like, yo, y'all, what y'all doing with that corpse and shit? What you doing with that corpse? You go and talk to your fucking necromancer. The necromancer's been drinking with the bard. Very, very bad. And they had a conversation with a gnome that you guys were talking to 2 towns back. Guess what's going on? They go, ta-da! The fucking bard's playing. The fucking necromancer introducing the new priestess of Lolth, Dritter. It's the priestess of Lolth, like literally cut in half, fucking sewed onto the top of a phase spider with the head of it still like, and you're like, oh, but no, not like any other Drider. This one is a double Drider. And then you see like the priestess of Lolth's like fucking assistant head priestess is just like tied to the fucking thing's ass. Just starts shooting its bow at random stuff. Like, oh no, stop it. Fucking bard is drunk. Like, you could have had that. I want fucking corpse mixing. Like, that would make the fucking characters so much cooler. But no, you're just like, hey, I give you 8 zombies. They all suck. I know that this is 5e fucking D&D or whatever, so it's going to go without saying that these zombies' weaknesses to pretty much the most common things you're ever going to see in this game, radiant and fire damage. There's going to be a lot of radiant and fire damage. These things are they're not going to last you long. They're not going to fucking work at all. This is, I'm not going to lie. I think I'm sending you out there with nothing, really. But they will smell weird when they get closer. And I don't know. No, they are not. No, I know they are rotting corpses. They will not. No, they will not make anybody nauseous. They will not. I know we have the effect nauseous. I know we have that effect. I know it's a really effective thing for like being counter magic. But no. What do you mean? Like a zombie that's full of like decomposing gas that you intentionally make sprint to the back line to explode, do a little bit of physical damage, and then it gives everybody nauseous. What? Who? Who would even think of that? Like, no, obviously we're not going to give you that. No. Gigantic zombie trolls? No, I don't think so. Resurrected Illithid? No, I don't think so. We're not going to do that. Resurrected? Yeah. I think they actually do have, you can resurrect some of the stuff, but like, still, you should be able to like keep it. You should have like little phylacteries and stuff. Like, dude, if you had like you have like a little Lich Lord necromancer who has like an actual phylactery, so if they die, like one of their tricks at the beginning can be like hide phylactery, so they just go like throw it across the fucking map. With the way, you know how Baldur's Gate, when you throw anything, it doesn't matter how heavy it is, it lands like a fucking 80-pound bag of potatoes. He just gets a little fucking takes his necklace off. But everybody, it's fucking 5e, so everyone has to pretend like they didn't see it unless they did a perception check. The fuck was that? He gets killed, fucking reforms around the phylactery in 2 turns. Resurrects everybody. They still got fucking busting down on people. Can I romance the zombies into getting good? Absolutely. No, the one thing that ticked me off about BG3, there are NPC artificers. Gortash is an artificer, but you cannot play as an artificer. Yeah, that's strange to me too, considering how much, like, shit you have. It really feels like Artificer was right there, and then they didn't do it. But I mean, like, Larian, you can't blame Larian for it. They did so much shit. They got so much crap in that goddamn game. It's very impressive, actually. What else do I have to say? I think I got it. I think I about got it all. God damn, longest fucking game I've played in a long time. That's continuous content. Shout out to Larian for making a game, really, in closing, that I played for 160 hours. Probably still has maybe 900 total hours of content left in it. I'm not exaggerating. Like, I mean, some of it's retread, but not that much. And for that 160 hours to not have been constant walking. Do you know what I mean? There's a reason I couldn't play that game, a game like that on stream. I would have never. I don't know how people did, or why people even tried to play Baldur's Gate 3 on stream, other than maybe like they thought they could get away with it. It's just nonstop talking and stuff. Like it's content. If you don't like talking and character-driven stuff, you cannot play it. But basically, it's like the best parts of old like Skyrim and Fallout and shit. You know, where you would like walk into a random crevice or something, fall into a hole in the map, and then you're like, oh, I'm in a dungeon for the next 20 minutes, but like all of the characters in the dungeon suck and it's boring and none of the backstory fucking matters. Larian accomplished basically making all of those little bits very, very interesting. I know there's stuff that even on my playthrough I missed. Whole characters that I feel like I know just because I was so interested in them. I watched hours. I've watched hours of Minthari TikToks. Like, literally. She fucking dominated my mind for a while because I was like, how in the fuck did they let me fuck this up? And, you know, honestly, I'm not even mad about it. Normally I would be pissed, because most games don't have enough replay value these days that if I miss something like that, because it's like I made a little mistake and I'm like, oh, come the fuck on. Why didn't you just give that to me? With Baldur's Gate 3, I would say there's enough content to justify those little bits of hidden stuff. It's not like you've got to go redo an entire loop of like uninteresting playthrough cycles. You can skip basically fucking everything in the game and just go straight to the end of it. Like, if you know how the combat and stuff works, and once you understand how the system, because the system's wildly fucking broken, as I've been discussing at length here. But once you've figured out how that works, you can kind of skip through giant chunks of the game if you just want to see a little bit of a thing. And there's an entire plot of the game that I didn't even experience because it's a character called the Dark Urge, who has an entire unique subplot that your other origin character, Tav, who's kind of like the standard, no personality, you do what you want type character, Like there's just a different version of that, and then you can also play through individually as all of the origin characters that I named. Like you can't be Halcyon or anything now without mods, but you can play through as Gale, you can play through as Karlach, you can play through as Astarion, you can play through as Shadowheart, you can play through as Lizelle, you can play through as Will. So, and every one of those has a unique playthrough on their own. Like, the game is different when you play through as them because there is no Tav. You just wake up where they wake up or whatever the fuck after the Nautiloid, and then you play as them, which is insane. And then each of them have their own individual two to plus path playthroughs, depending on how you achieve their goals in game. From what I understand, Karlach's origin playthrough is, like, on its own, one of the best individual like stories that's ever been in an RPG. Apparently playing through as Karlach is crazy. And you get to see a whole lot more of the game as her too. So I've got to say, yeah, basically perfect. Literally as close to perfect as a game like this could ever be. It accomplishes more than any other game has accomplished in the last 10 years as far as I'm concerned, if not way more. Perfectly executed. Wonderful game, wonderful characters. Play it, buy it, play it again. Baldur's Gate 3. I'm glad I finally finished the fucking thing. I didn't realize I had that much to say about it.
Hope you enjoyed your time on the Westside. Don't forget to subscribe and like it.